Good afternoon, latties. How we doing? This is what I would look like if I had short hair. Pretty crazy, right? Get juked. To the guy that said this monster can has been here for a week, you're right. Let's get into the vidsy poo, the updatesy poo, the I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm a little tired at the moment. Um, it was a great day and a really terrible day at the same time. And the reason why I say that it was a great day because we nailed just about every call, literal like financial security call, but also call outs. Um, oh, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Let's go through the TL here. If you're not following me on Twitter, you should. Basically, anytime I'm not live streaming, so like all the time, I'm doing like a quasi live like call out, I guess, on Twitter. Um, Also, real quick, I almost forgot. Today's video sponsor is BINGX, the one-stop shop for leverage, degeneracy, and liquidations. Use the code IB4OP8 Indigo 54 Omega Penis 8, or use the link in the description. Up to 150x leverage on crypto trading, forex trading, futures trading for popular indices like the S&P 500. You also get a free $100 holla in your dollar jar when you sign up with the code. So sign up, get in there, start trading, join the degeneracy. Um, the callouts we had today were insane, and there was some absolute tragedy that happened. We nailed the call saying that they would dump at just above 400, um, which it was actually called out last week, but once again, still came to fruition. I was playing a dump on Spy. A nasty, nasty, nasty dump, stinky obliteration of disease and waste. And the problem is I bought 120 contracts. That's right, you heard me correctly. 120 contracts, puts at the 396 strike that expired today. And Vlad did the thing because I was using Robinhood like an idiot. My puts were closed out at 3 p.m. So if I were to mark that, that would be right here. So literally right before the dump. Right before the dump, where this thing then went down over 1.25%. It took my puts in the money that I no longer owned because Robinhood sold them without any consent. Like as it was in the user agreement, I should have known better. I missed out on turning about $1,000 into $13,000. So again, just to try to take some market share from these pieces of shit, don't forget to use the code I54OP8. That is Indigo 54 Omega Penis 8. The goal is to deplatform Robinhood and replace it with BINGX. AMC opened up like over 10% at market open. Our calls were up 300%. That was great. I'm going to get into that update in a second. Spy is in a very odd place. I'm looking for a dump all the way down to about 394. Or sorry, not 394, 384. Currently, let me make sure I have this right. Yeah. Our daily distribution level is sitting at 392, so that would be our first bounce. And then probably reaccumulate about 1 to 3% below that. And after that, probably continue the bull run. We do have a gap from 381 up to 385. I'm not really a fan of the whole gap theory thing, other than me clapping and gapping people's cheeks, but neither here nor there. I don't get the appeal of gaps. Like it technically makes sense. Like it's just free liquidity. So you could have rogue buy orders or sell orders that take place there that if you're somebody who can actually move the charts could see some like benefit to, but I don't care, and I don't think it has any relevancy. If I'm wrong, please tell me, and I will happily change my mind if the evidence and reasoning is substantial enough. But until then, I don't care. So about 392. The 4-hour closest form of support is taking place at 394. So this would probably break down through this and then catch a 392 on the daily. Then after that is 385.5. So there is a lot of room for this thing to cool down, and that's what we're playing because on the way up we were buying puts, and guess what? On the way down, we're gonna be buying calls. Amy, I just want to make it clear. I'm not calling for MOAS. I don't believe in that. If my mind changes, I will let you know. But in the meantime, none of that. This is just another short squeeze, just another potential opportunity to get some really volatile upside, and we're going to capitalize on that with leveraged instruments that have exposure to volatility, aka calls. This is actually looking good. We have a nice little descending cledge taking place. Sort of, kind of. Looks more like a pennant. But if we're going to do the fractal theory thing, which, by the way, the Wyckoff Snippy Snipe was built off of, we seem to have these reiterating features taking place right here, and then here, and then here, right? If you're a fan of Elliott wave theory, you can also apply that to this. It does look like we have some more significant upside coming, but of course that is completely contingent upon the rest of the market not going dookie, aka DXY, the dollar index. If this thing continues to suffer, then I think some form of squeeze has a chance, but unfortunately the dollar index appears to be finding some strength because it is now bouncing off of the daily distribution. You heard me right. The daily distribution for the dollar index. It has bounced off of the daily. The last time this happened was all the way back when the bear market began. So we are at a very interesting spot, to say the least, with markets. We're teetering at 400, and then we have the DXY bouncing at 107, which is the daily. I don't see any way that this thing does not bounce. So I'm imagining there's going to be some blood in the water. And then I don't know what Jay Powell's going to do with the dollar or with rate hikes. I really don't know. That's really the golden question here, because if this recovers, then market go dookie. If this falls through, then the US dollar just isn't going to exist, I don't think. Well, that's a little bit of hyperbole, but I don't know what the dollar is going to do and what that means for the rest of any country that uses the US dollar as a reserve currency. And then on top of that, you have the UN calling on the United States to chill with the rate hikes because it's destabilizing every other NATO country's currency. So I don't know. This is gonna be really weird. This is gonna be really, really weird. I think we're just gonna kind of like, it would have to bounce up, or does it? I don't know, because here's accumulation coming through. Accumulation is trying to come into the picture, which means that, excuse all of this. So we're going to take the trend of accumulation, which is the blue line that you see, and we're going to extrapolate it. And then we're going to match that with the current trend of the dollar, and where these 2 points intersect would theoretically be your bounce point. And that puts us at Friday, November 18th / Monday, November 21st. So the rest of this week would be rippy if this thing just continues to soar downward at the pace that it's been going at. The likelihood of that, I don't know. For the first time, yeah, normally this is bounced on the 4-hour bounce, and bounce. This is really strange to see it all the way down here. Yeah, this is getting really weird really quick. Surprise anal, if you will, of finance. Jimbo showing a spring. That's a nice spring. I'm not gonna lie, that's a really nice spring. Recovering somewhat, closed down about a fifth of a percent, a quarter of a percent. Starting to show signs of life though. But this is the typical like squeeze pattern that you see where it goes up and then squeezes down, has a little wedge, pops up, redistributes, and then comes back down. So could see 35, maybe 36 again. And then I don't know. By the time we're like getting to that territory and like redistributing in that territory relative to like the little cycle we talked about, that would lead us into January. And I do think January of this year will have something special for the meme stocks. Yeah, so I don't know. This is all weird. This is really weird. This is really weird. I'm still not over the $13,000 loss that I was raked of, but it's cool. Looking good though, bouncing off of distribution on the 4-hour. We did get a sell signal on the 4-hour earlier in pre-market. So I don't know what that's about. I don't really know. As far as tomorrow goes, I'm gonna say dippy for tomorrow. Because to be quite frank, this was a lot of fun calling the bear market rally, but I think it's time to reaccumulate for a little bit, and then redistribute probably after a day or two of reaccumulating. So basically just sideways and down is the forecast. Yeah. This looks like it wants to make a spring. Kind of something like this. Right? Same thing we called out last week and the week before that. And the week before that. Yeah, pretty like routine kind of move. Like pop up and then descending wedge. So like this pattern right here. Right? We got the pop up. Tried to push higher and then get pulled down, and then there's this like curvature that you start to see, and then have a really deep rooted spring and then rally up from it. Same thing here. What the hell? Go up, try to push through, and then deep rooted spring, and then push up, and then we push up again, have a deep rooted spring, descending wedge, and then pop again. So, you know, pretty routine. That's honestly what I'm saying. Today was a really low volume day, by the way, which is how, again, I can't believe it was $13,000 that I was deprived of. But yeah, that was 1,200% that fortunately some people were following me on Twitter and got in on the play and had some pretty life-changing money take place. So I'm actually really happy about that. That kind of makes up for the loss on my part. But today's like call out is pretty simple just because we were flirting with that 400 level. The whole entire day had been low volume, and then we just kind of kept melting up, and then around like 12:30/noon, something like that, we were pushing that 400 level. Oh, Slavik Comrade Cats, hello. We were pushing that level, and then there was just still no volume. So the volume was already low on the day, and we were rising up, and then we got to that 400 level, which is obviously a really important level. And there was just no follow through volume wise. So it was kind of a no-brainer to go short. Then it just dumped. So, yeah. Still a lot of room to go down, which I'm fine with because we have das puts. Futures also looking really heavy. There's the 30-minute sell signal. Bitcoin. Also looking kind of heavy. Yeah, looking pretty heavy. Probably a spring down to like 11,000 IMO. Yeah, so that's it. Sign up on BINGX. I54OP8, Indigo 54, Omega Penile Dysfunctional Syndrome 8. See y'all tomorrow. And stay black.